so that's with regard to, so everything I've talked about till now is all wireless, okay? And I want to talk about another category, this wired, and you know, the EMFs on wiring, because it tends to be forgotten. And there's three types of electromagnetic fields here: the electric fields, magnetic fields, and dirty electricity. And you know, it is a little bit, for some people, or if you're hearing about this for the first time, then it's not easy to get your head around this whole EMF concept, because we can't see them, we can't feel them, we can't touch them, or most people can't in any case. And yet very clearly they are there. So we have these different categories, and it's all, when we're talking about EMFs, we're always talking about them in terms of frequency and wavelength. And you know, for instance, the 5G is going into these very high frequencies now, and here we're talking about lower frequencies. So on this spectrum, which I mentioned at the beginning, we're right kind of down at the bottom. And for instance, your electrical system, the electrical system in the US is at 60 hertz. So those electric fields and magnetic fields would be around those frequencies. But then we've got this other phenomena called dirty electricity, which is a little bit higher. I'll get onto that in a second. But so what's important to understand is that these wired EMFs also cause biological effects, yeah, just like the wireless. So these wired EMFs, unfortunately, don't stay on the wire. That's the problem. You know, so you've got electrical wire, you've seen the little picture there. We've got this, that's what it does. It's like, because most homes do not have shielded wiring. So some workplaces do, but most homes do not have shielded wiring. So when we've got electricity on a wire, then we have an electromagnetic field which is emanating from this wire. And this electromagnetic field, studies are telling us, causes cellular damage, DNA breaks, creation of free radicals again, obviously oxidative stress. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but that's all goes with the whole free radical thing, and also other synergistic effects. So it's like the EMFs with everything else, which is a very important point. Just want to stress. So, you know, I'm talking about EMFs today, and you know, we talked about all the different toxins at the beginning, the internal and the external, but understand that it's the interaction of the EMFs, the electromagnetic field, with all of these toxins. That's the problem. It's not just the EMFs on their own. And that is the particular nature of these EMFs, is that they're everywhere, and that they have this ability to interact with all these other toxins from the food we're eating, from the soaps and the shampoos and so on that you're putting on your skin, from the air we're breathing, from all these, from the glyphosate in the soils, you know, from all these different sources. And this is the problem, which we have few studies on, but the studies we do have are very concerning. And it's this synergistic nature of EMFs, where we've got EMFs plus the other toxin, or plus the other toxins altogether. And it's not 2 + 2 + 2 = 6. It's 2 + 2 + 2 = 60 or 600 or 6,000. It's this exponential effect of these exposures. And so we have science on this, notably, you know, going back to the 1970s. I know it's unbelievable, you know, that people don't know about this, but, you know, on electrical wiring, and what the 1979 study showed here was that children living near ordinary power lines had 3 times the likelihood of developing cancer. And, you know, just exposure of just 2 to 3 milligauss. And milligauss is how we measure magnetic fields, which is very low. Okay, just to give you an example, you know, it's levels of 10, 20, or 30 or more milligauss, 50 milligauss are commonly found in homes by EMF consultants, building biologists, and so on. So, you know, 2 to 3 milligauss is not exceptional, okay? And yet, with 2 to 3 milligauss, we have an increased risk of cancer, and 2/3 of homes have these elevated magnetic fields, and over 50% is actually due to wiring issues, which is by the by, and which is a whole nother topic. But unfortunately, when your wiring is done, then it can be the wiring can satisfy the electrical requirements, the code, and yet it can still cause a magnetic field, unfortunately. So if it respects code, that is already a really good a really good point, and then that kind of minimizes things, but we can still have high magnetic fields. So let's talk about this thing, dirty electricity, and that is a bit of a colloquialism, but we're talking about intermediary frequencies. We're talking about frequencies between the power frequencies, the 60 hertz wherever you live, or the 50 hertz if you live in Europe, between those power frequencies which are on your electrical wiring and the radio frequencies, the wireless and so on, which we've been talking about. So it's these in-betweeny frequencies, and this is what, if you look on the little diagram here, you can see we've clean electricity, then it's this nice clean sine wave, and that's how it should look, and that's how it used to look. And then what happened was we started introducing devices to save energy. Actually, that's where it all started, this whole thing. And by saving energy, what we're often doing is chopping the current, and it can be chopping the current thousands of times a second, and that introduces these harmonics and transients onto the electrical supply. And many modern devices have like things like switch mode power supplies have these little transformer looking kind of units which are causing this dirty electricity. So it's frequencies in the kilohertz range, and what we know from the research, which is mainly Russian research, is that this goes internal. These frequencies go internal on certain frequencies on the kilohertz range, and that's the problem with this dirty electricity. And one bit of research I can share with you is the La Quinta middle school case in California in 2013. The teachers were complaining that cancer rates amongst their colleagues were high, and there were actually a threefold risk of cancer in teachers at La Quinta compared to California residents as a whole. And so, why? Well, what they found out, and there was a team that went in there with Dr. Sam Milham and Dave Stetzer and other people. And in what they found was that in 1/4 of the classrooms, the dirty electricity readings were so high, they overloaded the meter. I think the meter was like going to 2000 or something like that. And it was so high, it was overloading the meter. And the readings that we should be looking at are around 50 or below. That's what the manufacturers recommend. So at the time of the study, which was at the time of the study, there were 11 reported cancer cases. Okay, I'm not sure that figure is right, actually, 2018. But at the time of the study, which I believe was 2013, there were 11 reported cancer cases. And the 2018 update, which I have, was that 49 of those students subsequently got cancer. 12 died. 6 teachers and staff and 6 students in their early 20s have now died. And the expected thyroid cancer at the school is 13 times higher, and 10 times the expected melanoma rate, and 9 times the expected uterine cancer. So, and there are other cases of correlation, certainly, between these exposures, like cancer clusters with these high dirty electricity exposures, which is very easy to measure. And I've got a meter I can show you if you're interested, if people have questions about that. Very easy to measure. It's just plug and play kind of meter, and you look at it and it gives you a reading, and it tells you, what that, you just get a number, and it, as I say, it should be below 50. So what we, what we're saying here is that a large number of peer-reviewed studies clearly document an association between cancer and EMFs. And again, a bioinitiative report is a really good place to go. If you just want to look at the dry studies, go to electricsense.com if you're wanting to get some kind of understanding and interpretation. And that's what I've been doing since over 10 years now online.